The person that you marry on your wedding day is not going to be the person like that you're looking at today. Even within that 24-hour span, that is not the same person. All right, this is why people will get married and have arguments that they've never had before.
Say how's the fam?
How's the fam?
Hey y'all, it's Keisha.
And this is Tyler.
And this is How's the Fam.
That's right, the fam is back, y'all.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, y'all. What's going on, y'all? Your podcast for family, friends, and growth. Keisha has finally returned. You feel me? So, Kiki, how was the break? Oh, actually, today's episode starts off our month-long journey of reestablishing relationships brick by brick. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it. Call it brick by brick. The fundamentals of a successful marriage. Okay, now keep in mind, I'm doing this. Keisha and I's marriage still has some improvements. All right, we still got improvements, even though we've been together for 14 years. We've been married for 7, but we've been together for 4. Is it 7? 6. It'll be 7 this year.
It will.
Yeah, it'll be 7 this year. So, you guys have reestablishing your relationship brick by brick. The fundamentals of marriage. If that interests you, then stick around in this episode because that's what we're talking about. But before we get into it, every episode starts out with a segment I like to call Just Checking In. All right. Today's Just Checking In Just Checking In, for those who are unfamiliar, is just us checking in with the family, letting you guys know how everything has been. So, Kiki, you want to start out the Just Checking In?
I was looking at the screen and not the camera. You think it was weird?
You'd be all right. You'd be all right.
It's been a while.
That's actually why I put it there, because I figured you would do that.
Yeah. My just checking in is some pretty awesome news. I no longer have student loans.
Yeah, man. Which means
we
are
debt free.
We're debt free.
Ooh. But yeah, finally just went on and like, you know what? These things are going nowhere. I mean, no, anytime soon, at least. So let's just get rid of it. You know, we're in a position that we could, and it was just a nagging expense that we had to pay for since I've been out of school. So we just looked at each other. We even talked to our financial advisor, and she was like, girl, y'all can knock that out like next year. You know what? Before the new year come in, go ahead.
We didn't have a lot.
Yeah, I put a bit dent in them. So we just like, you know what? You're right. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. And we did. So I don't know how to feel.
That's what I was going to ask.
I don't. Hopefully, that's the last time I have to deal with student loans. Hopefully, with our girls, we got their college fund set up to help them along with whatever scholarships or anything or whatever path they want to be on. We kind of setting them up for that, so we don't really have to deal with student loans. But I mean, push on the show if they do, we know how to like approach them and like take care of them while they're in school before the interest start hitting, you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think we're pretty much done. I'm not planning on going to school. I thought about going back for my master's.
You did. You went back for a while.
But man,
it's not worth it. Like, well, in our particular case.
In my case, no, it wasn't.
Honestly, I went back, and in my particular case, it really wasn't worth it either. But, I mean, here we are, you know, whatever. You live and you learn, all right? But at least you made enough from your primary degree, your bachelor degree, and your associate's degree to justify doing what you did, right? You know, you got your associate? Oh, okay.
That's a whole nother story.
You could reverse transfer.
You said that, and I don't know what happened. Oh, my last year I took 21 hours. You remember? My last semester. You can
still reverse transfer.
We'll see.
It's just something community colleges do because their graduation rates are like horrible. People just stay there just long enough to get the basics out and they leave.
I'll have you take that class. Don't record this.
The world knows I wouldn't do it.
It's a science class. That's why I'm like.
Oh, is that what you're lacking for the reverse? Oh, okay. Yeah. That was hilarious. And real talk, the part she's not talking about is like this is like 3-year plan that got accelerated to 2.5. We had all our debt. We laid it all out, and we literally came up with a plan for all of it. We called it what they did. We did what they call a debt snowball, all right? And debt snowballing is just you take the lowest one, you knock it out, and then you take the next one. And actually, no, we didn't. Did we? Because we paid the car off before we paid your loans off.
We did the ones with the higher interest rate.
So we did a debt avalanche. That's what it is.
Okay.
And the debt avalanche, you pay less money, but you get your higher interest rates out of the way, which, is less psychologically fulfilling until you get to the end. So congratulations, babe.
Thank you.
Actually, congratulations to us. Like it felt awesome. It's not like our debt was one of those things where it's like crushing us, and I felt like stressed out about it. But it is nice to have off our shoulders, right?
Yeah, it took a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
Putting no extra payments and stuff. It's like, oh. And then especially, I feel like the car was more of a deal.
That's what
bigger deal than
paying off the car was like, whew. Yeah. And once you pay off the car, it was just like, oh well, the rest of this is just trivial, right? But again, congrats, babe.
Thanks.
You did it. My just checking in story is I'm creating this thing, right? And I'm switching up how I'm doing content creation, right? So obviously we're not recording in the living room right now because our daughter's there. She's having a good time. And I'm just trying to figure out what is the balance between content creation and being a family man and having a full-time job. What does that look like, right? And what I've discovered is like kind of what you guys are going to see is I'm just going to have a theme for the month, and we're going to hit that theme for the month. And I'm just going to deep dive into that topic. Right now we're talking about the foundations, or in just a second, right, we'll be talking about the foundations of marriage. And I just want to see how this goes. And like, for those of you who are going to be on this journey with us, thank you, right? It's going to be super cool. I'm hoping to just touch people's relationships. Because really, do I need to get into it now? No, wait. All right. I'll get into it in just a second, like the motivations. But y'all, thank y'all so much. And for those of you like in the far future checking this out, this is the beginning of something. Like, this is where it all began. All right. This is where it all began. All right. And that has been just checking in. All right. Now, you guys, we do have one sponsor, and that's right. If you've been around, you know what that sponsor is, and it is Pray, Plan, Execute. Okay, Pray, Plan, Execute is a faith-based athleisure brand who just got the restock. Okay, they got the limited edition Pray, Plan, Execute hoodie tracksuit. All right, it is premium, and the price reflects how awesome it truly feels. Mine is on the way. All right, that's right. You're gonna see your boy in the tracksuit, the PPE swag, killing it. All right, but the thing is, if you really want it in your size, you got to be there early. Okay, so go ahead, go to PrayPlanExecute.shop. Again, that is PrayPlanExecute.shop, and then enter code FAM FAM at checkout. Again, that is code FAM at checkout. All right, these are gonna go quick. All right, I barely got my size. I barely got my size. And again, this is a purpose-driven brand, so it's only for purpose-driven people. Those of you who aren't afraid to wear your faith. Okay, so if you're one of those people, hop on immediately. PrayPlanExecute.shop. Use code FAM FAM and checkout. Again, Pray Plan Execute is more than a brand; it's a lifestyle, and that brings us to the meat and potatoes. All right, today's meat and potatoes is, what is the foundation of a successful marriage? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you. I'm going to give y'all what I figured out just from the jump, and then I will tell y'all why I'm here. All right. So initially we got God. All right. God is one of the foundations of a successful marriage. Communication, support, both like inward support, like support between you, support for and with, support. All right? I got to explain them all. Love, trust, and then adaptation. Again, that's God, communication, support, love, trust, and then adaptation. Now I'm going to get into all seven, but I want to tell y'all why. And the reason why I'm getting into it the reason it even came to my mind is because of what happened. All right, we lost an awesome relationship in the relationship sphere, and that is Megan Good and her husband, which is back. I don't really remember his name. We lost Megan Good and her husband. And it's the thing, right?
Franklin.
I've always said I don't look up to other.
Devin.
Huh?
Franklin.
Devon Franklin?
Is it Devon or Devin?
Again, I don't look up to celebrities. I don't look up to celebrities and their relationships, right? Like Beyonce and Jay-Z or just Beyonce and Jay-Z. Those are two people I'll probably never meet in my life. Who are the others? Like Kev on Stage and Miss Kev on Stage. I'm not 100% certain who these celebrities that y'all look up to, all right? But I recognize that people look up to them. And I also recognize that when we lose relationships like that, people start losing their trust, their faith, that's it. Their hope that happily ever after can last for an eternity, okay? And I'm here to let y'all know, again, happily ever after can last for an eternity, right? It can, it really can. But there are certain things you got to have in place that if you can have them in place at the very, very beginning, like you can withstand so much more than if you just literally be like, hey, we ain't getting no younger, you know? And so that's why I wanted to hop into it. Now, first one, me and God, they're not in any particular order except for this one, all right? And this one is the most important of all of them. And I said God because, the whole point of having marriage in the first place is to fulfill the covenant with God so you can have a oneness to achieve and be that much closer to Him, okay? Keisha, you got any thoughts and opinions about God being the only one that has an order? Also, do you think God needs to be, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
He definitely needs to be first. Even before you, God comes first. And so once you have that relationship with God, you want to build a covenant with Him with your significant other. So y'all, when you get married, you make that union with God there. It's like people do the rope for their
a string of I don't remember the verse, but a string of many strands is not easily broken, or a rope of many strands.
Yeah, so it's three of them: one for you, your spouse, and God, and you tie them together, and that's your oneness. It's the oneness, and so you personally just having a relationship with God, it just already builds a strong relationship. And so when you bring somebody else who has that same goal and have God first in their life, it's like this triangle really. And it's kind of, if you think of that's
like, girl, you put your hands up like that.
Okay, no, guys, no. But it really builds a triangle because when you think about engineering, when people build bridges and stuff, the strongest shape that you can build is a triangle.
How'd you know that?
No.
Oh, okay. It's true. The strongest shape you can build is a triangle.
I went to school too, so yeah. But yeah, when you have that strong foundation, you can tackle everything else that comes with the marriage. So just making sure that foundation is set.
And then as a guy, if you're led by something bigger than yourself, like if you're led by God, like if God is the head of your life, then you can know that you're going to steer your relationship exactly where it needs to be, right? It prevents you from going into a lot of pitfalls that follows marriage, right? Because, I'll get into the pitfalls of marriage in week 3. But it helps you prevent some of the things that will easily tear up a relationship. Now, the next one is communication. And communication, I know it's cliche. I know.
Communication is key.
I know. You know what's funny? I was like, man, how can I say communication without saying communication? But to say communication without saying communication, you
gotta be blunt.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, that's one of the main issues in relationships. You don't even have to be married. Just relationships, period. You not voicing your opinion, not telling the truth, keeping the truth from people, assuming all that. Believe it or not, a lot of people in relationships, no matter if you're married or not, that's the number one issue is communications, because you're not talking to each other. You're assuming things. You keeping truth from each other because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. It's like different things that's just communication based, and it's just rocking relationships because they don't communicate.
Yeah.
And so even though it feels like a broken record when people ask us like, what's one of the things that keep y'all together? We talk to each other. We let it, like, you pissing me off today, don't talk to me. We're not like, it's not the day to be jokey joke, leave me alone.
Yeah.
We'll discuss this later. Or I mean, just, hey babe, it's a rough day, just give me a moment. Or, oh, you ain't kissed me all day, what's up with you?
Yeah, you do that. And then another thing is like those truths, right? Whether it be a truth that you need to share with your spouse, or it be something that you need to accept from them, right? A lot of us, again, we're going to just be blunt. A lot of us don't want the truth. Like, we just want to feel good. We just want to be happy. But the thing is, you can't just be happy and feel like your relationship is going to flourish. You keep it too much in. You got too much. What was it? Baggage? Is that the word? You got too much that's like just being bent up and not released, that you can't have a successful relationship. You gotta appreciate the truth over protecting those emotions that you hold so tight, right?
It's not even just your emotions. Some people hold back the truth because they don't want the other person's emotions. And so,
Explain.
Okay, so
I think that's what I tried to say.
So yeah, I mean, yeah,
Oh,
it is.
okay.
But I think it was more on your side. You don't want to expose your truth to that person.
Yeah.
But just to add on to that, in fear of the reaction of your significant other, because that one. Okay, y'all know I watch TV. So 90 Day Fiance. One of the issues that a lot of people have is like the truth start to come out later, and it just adds like, I guess not lies, but it just makes it worse. Yeah. And so pretty much he held back. What did he hold back? No. Okay. I got a scenario. She had her friend come from out of town, and he stayed with her, which she did tell her husband, but she didn't say that he stayed in the same room with her.
Oh, that is major.
And so it came up later, and he was like, why you just didn't tell me that, you held that little piece out? Yeah. And she was like, well, I didn't want you to assume anything. He was like, what he assume now? Like, you slept in the same room with him. What you think he gonna think when you didn't tell him? Yeah, it's worse. So just go ahead and lay it all out. And you might get wrath, but it's a different kind of wrath than to create more doubt later on down the line.
Yeah, them seeds of doubt will bury a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I guess what you're trying to say is bad news over time only gets worse.
Yeah,
bad news over time only gets worse.
Yeah, because he was always afraid of like how she was going to react. Then, like, he didn't want to have an argument. He was avoiding arguments most of the time.
Oh, no, you got to get them things.
And so when it came out later, it's like, wait. You finna get an argument plus some, plus doubt, plus an issue I have with you where I can't even trust you.
Yeah. But what's that thing that you said to me not too long ago? You were like, trust is lost in buckets, but it's earned back in drops. What was it?
Yeah.
I got it.
You did. It's earned back in drops. It's lost in buckets. You just lose it like that. But it takes a little bit of a while for you to gain it back. So, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you can't skip over communication, because communication is, it really is just so key. Support. And this support comes in the what do you call it? This support comes in both time. The support comes in both finances. The support comes in emotional support. Well, I guess support, emotional, physical, all encompassing, right? You have to feel like you can trust. You have to feel like you can be supported by your spouse, right? You have to feel like your spouse can hold everything that comes with you, right? Or if not everything that comes with you, that your spouse is willing to at least learn or accept some of like what comes with you. Because some of us come from some pretty dark places, right? Some of us have seen some pretty traumatic things, right? And on top of that, some of us have lived a life that is like just amazing. And it's like to introduce the life that you've lived to somebody that that you're trying to get to, it's like maybe they just won't fully get it, right? And so support. You have to feel like you've been supported by your relationship. Now, what are your thoughts on that one?
Hey, you gotta be my cheerleader.
You gotta be my cheerleader. Yo, that's
Like
good.
how I'm with you and you're not in my corner rooting me on. Like that, I can't even imagine that. Yes, you might not agree with some of the choices that I want to go for, some of the things I want to shoot for. And of course, you go back to communication where you voice that opinion. But
I miss you, man. I miss having you on the podcast, man.
At the same time, it's like, look, if that's something you're serious about, that's something you truly want to do, here I am. I'm here to support you. And your significant other is that main person you want to hear that from. Yes, you're gonna want grandma, ma, hey, go girl, do your thing, yeah, you see my baby's successful, and yeah, you want that too. But if I got my husband like, oh, you doing that thing again? Oh, you doing your little podcast?
That would be rough.
What kind of crap?
That would be rough. That would be real. I ain't gonna even lie. Like, especially for those people who have dreams, like big dreams, the easiest thing to do is to introduce a big dream to a small mind. And what's worse is if that small mind is the person that you're married to. Right? So, yeah, man, you gotta feel like you can conquer the world with your spouse. I guess that's why people always be like Bonnie and Clyde to the end, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be Bonnie and Clyde because I haven't read the book, I haven't watched the movie, but I heard that they died at the end. Not killed, died. I heard that they was killed at the end, right? So, but yeah, support. You got to feel support both like physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. You got to feel that support from your spouse. Financially, got to mention finance. Money's important. I hate to say it, but it is. I missed this one. I don't know how I missed it. Your history. I should have said that at the very, very beginning. Yeah. But like your history actually does determine how you're gonna treat your spouse, right? Well, some of us look at our history and it's like, yo, it's traumatic, this, that, and the other. It's like, I just can't shake it. I gotta be better than what my past suggests, right? I gotta be better than my parents. Some of us just literally just go along with it. It's like how we was treated is how we're going to treat the next person. And like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It just is, it is what it is. But your history, whether it be positive or negative, does have an impact on what you do in your relationships going forward, right? So to not present that history to your spouse is doing them a disservice because they won't know exactly what triggers you, what to expect, what traumas you've been through. Like this is a very important step to explain the history of you, the history that comes with you, and all that good stuff. Now, what are your thoughts on that one, Kiki?
I definitely agree.
Do you?
The more you know about your spouse past, even like the bad stuff, the more you really truly understand the person they have become and what kind of rounding them off.
Good point.
And so, I mean, just to bring up one example is one time Tyler raised his voice at me and I just like, hold on. We can't argue, we can fight, but you do not have to yell at me. Mm-hmm. I have never in my life had a man raise his voice at me. My granddaddy, tall, built, country man, like
all tells the truth.
Deep voice, can just go, like it can travel. Never once I have heard him raise his voice at my grandma, me, my mom, none of us, to get his point across. Whatever he just said, it was in a normal tone, and you still got that same effect. Somebody was just like, rah, 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 rah. And so I'm like, you can yell if you want to, but I'm just going to shut off. And you don't want that. And so not only are you not going to do that to put me in the shell, do not yell at me. No, we got to nip that in the butt right now.
And you know what's funny about that? Keisha always says I yelled at her. I was like, this is just the volume of my voice. No. And I was like, this is not me yelling at you. This is just the way I talk.
You just raised it. Like, you hear that? It went up now.
She was like, you raise your voice a bit. Like, no. Because as you get heated, like in my household, like
you get louder.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, family reunions, like to be heard, you got to be audible, right? And so I didn't realize I was yelling at her. And it actually took me a long time to figure out what your definition of yelling was. But like once we figured that out, we was able to, we was able to heal from it. I guess I get what she's saying. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm being dismissive. I get what she's saying. All right. But that's why history is extremely important. Okay. Now next is love, and like here's the thing. I made sure God was at the top, and again, the rest of them aren't in any particular order, and this includes love, right? It's funny, I just got off the phone with Julian today, but Julian famously said on one of the episodes, I don't believe in the one, I believe in the one that you make it work with, right? And keep in mind, I memorized that. I don't believe in the one, I believe in the one that you make it work with, right? And so, in terms of that, it's like love almost could be like targeted. You love the person you choose to love. Now, do I believe that? It doesn't really matter, right? I actually do believe in the one. I think Keisha's my one. I believe in my one. But, you have to work at it, is what I'm trying to say. Love is a fleeting emotion. Love is one of those things where it's like when you have it and you get to experience it for an extended amount of time, it is like bliss. It truly is. Like there's no other place like almost waking up to a Disney movie every single day, right? It's a great feeling. But you also have to recognize, like, you have to know how to get there. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And the only way to get there is you have to know how you like to be loved, right? So you have to, like, actually know what it feels like to receive love. You have to know, like, these actions make me feel loved, right? And for your spouse, you also have to be able to, like, know what makes them feel loved as well, right? You got to know them better than you know yourself. Like, if I do X, my spouse will feel loved, right? Like if I rub Keisha's feet, she feels loved, right? If I buy Keisha flowers, even though she's like, I don't like flowers. If I buy her flowers, look at that smile. She feels loved. It just is what it is, right? Kiki, what you got to say about that?
That is so convoluted. I was like, I had two things that popped up in my mind. I was like,
I said it two different ways.
Stop.
Love is important. Like, you choose, you can direct love, right? You get to choose who you love, right? But I also said you have to know, you have to be loved in your own self. Like you have to know what love looks like to you, and you have to know what love looks like to your spouse. Because if I'm doing things that I think you will appreciate, like things that you will love, but in all actuality, it's just like, and I'll feel some type of way. I'm like, yo, I'm over here loving you, and you ain't doing nothing.
I don't want that love.
Yeah, it was like, oh, whatever. It's like, but I love, So in order to bridge that gap, you have to kind of know what your spouse expects, like from somebody who loves them.
You have to know what your spouse expects, but you also kind of have to have a good idea of what good love is, because it goes back to the history and what you saw. And if you used to a kind of abusive situation and like, oh, that's love, my man is gonna hit me, or my man is gonna talk down on me all the time, that's because he loves me. Like it could be taught to you wrong. Toxic love. Yeah. So yeah, you might have an idea of love, but it might not necessarily be correct or, good in a way. And so it's kind of hard to break cycles. It's really hard to break them. And so when you're so used to it and you used to seeing something, you like, and that's the way you think it's supposed to be, when somebody comes in and do opposite and show you love without those things, it's like, wait, something's wrong here. No, I got to get out. And it's not true. It's like, it's really bad, and it caused you to kind of want to pull away. But I also thought about when we talk about love and being in love with the person, people do talk about finding their one or making it work with the one you're with. It's the thing called honeymoon phase. It's so real. It's not even funny. It's like you're so blissful. You're in love. Like, oh, I love you too. Oh, I see no wrong in you and stuff like that. And then you have your first argument. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's over. And no, I got to get out. It's not going to work. This is turmoil. We're arguing. What? Couples don't argue.
Yeah.
What?
Mental breakdown because of an argument.
It's like, no, wait, hold on, no. We couldn't figure out. Why y'all break up? Oh, he want a McDonald's, girl. Wait,
McDonald's.
Wait, you broke up? Oh, guys, hold on. We gotta start over. But yeah, it's simple things like that people question love because something just goes wrong, and we're here to say, like, it's not all blissful all the time. It's some days I do not like this man. I cannot stand him
Saturday
sometimes.
is one of those days,
And I'm like, I'm not talking to you today. It's just it's one of those days. Just know you done made me mad, and we're gonna have a moment where we're just not talking. But
you know,
at the end of the day, I still love you. That's unconditional love all day. But you're gonna go through things, so don't let that like just turn you away from it and thinking, oh snap, it's an issue, we're having a problem, we can't agree on this, we gotta end it.
You know what's funny? As an spouse, you gotta accept that too. Like when that you have to accept it's like, yo, my spouse doesn't like me right now, and I gotta be okay with that because nothing I can do in this moment can change how she feels or how he feels, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like that, and so this is why I brought up love, because at the end of the day, you do need to love the person you with so you can go the distance, right?
I understand unconditional love, cause that.
Maybe I should put it as unconditional.
That might be better. Yeah.
I like that. Trust. All right, trust is my next one. We only got two more, right? We only got one trust, and we got one more after trust. And trust is important because nothing kills a relationship quicker than everything that you do being questioned. All right. Again, nothing kills a relationship quicker than every little thing you're doing being under a microscope. Because if you try to find fault in a person, you will 100% find it. 100% of the time. Even if it doesn't truly exist. If you try to find the worst in people and the worst in the person that you love, you will find it every single time. And you will never, ever be satisfied. Ever. And that is one of the reasons I have trust in there. What you got? What's up?
Oh God!
I felt like I was talking to somebody. But
no, because I just finished watching 90 Day Fiance. Y'all gonna get on me about 90 Day Fiance, my 600-pound life. Y'all gonna hear it. But seriously, one of their relationships, she has major trust issues, and when I say she questions everything this man does, he wanted to tip the waitress, and he's like, why you tipping the waitress? You got something for her? Wait, what? She did her job. She served us.
Cultural norms too, right?
It was part of culture. And then she got a text message and it said Paul. And he was like, who's Paul? And so she got up and like got behind him. She was like, we're gonna read this together. See, it's short for Paula. This is my friend Paula. I have nothing to hide from you. He was like, okay, good. She was like, okay, now you do the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is so calculated and everything she does is insane. But her trust level is just so bad. Yeah. It's just non-existent. But it's because she's been hurt in the past so often, and she finally she cares it. So she thinks every man gonna do her wrong. And so now that she's with somebody who's completely different from what she dated ever, she even doubts him. And we're looking at this guy like, girl, that man ain't gonna do nothing to you.
Oh, he ain't the type.
No, he is not gonna do anything against you. Like, no, he loves you, girl. He truly does. And she's just like, no, I have witnessed so many things happen to me done wrong that I know I can look out for the clues or I can jump ahead of it before it even happens. And that's tiring.
That's a tough place to be. Yeah, that's a tough place to be.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, I hate that for her.
So that you gotta have that trust, because that's tiring. It's very tiring to try to keep track of somebody else and all their what are they doing now? What are they not doing? Ooh, who's that person they with? Like, come on. You gotta have a life. You gotta, if it's that bad, you really need to reevaluate some things, because it's like, no, that's too much.
And the bridge between trust and the next one is with trust. Trust almost lets you know that your partner will be there when the road gets rough, right? Like no matter what, your partner will be there, right? And this is another reason why trust is like a foundational part of successful marriages, right? You got anything to say about that before I move on to the next one?
That's really it. No, that's like straight to the point.
And then the last one is adaptation, okay? The person that you're with today, the person that you marry on your wedding day, is not going to be the person like that you're looking at today. Even within that 24-hour span, that is not the same person. All right. This is why people will get married and have arguments that they've never had before. Right. This is why, like, immediately some people like start feeling regret and stuff like that. But here's the thing: you have to be willing to adapt to the person that you will both grow into. Like, you have to realize you're not going to be the same either. Like, your spouse ain't going to be the same. You're not going to be the same. You have to be willing to adapt, right? Just like anybody who's owned a phone over the past, how long has it been? 10 years? We've been through so many. We have phones that flipped. We have phones that
Slide
slid.
up, yeah.
Now we get the bricks. Now we're back to the folding phones that are just
flip.
all screens. Like, and then keep in mind, through all of that, the software has changed too. Like, if you still trying to hold on to the Nokia, it's like, come on, man. It's like we've been past the Nokia. What are you doing? Right? Your relationship is something very similar, man. Like, you have to roll with the punches. You have to adapt to the person that you are and the person that you're becoming. And that goes double for your spouse. All right, now what you got to say about that one? That's the last one, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good one because I know a lot of people don't get married because of it. They're like, we good where we at. I'm gonna stay here because I know once I get down one knee and once we get married, she gonna change.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you was talking about when you said that. I was like, that is a very. Some people
I know
are
a few
okay
people
with the baby mama, baby daddy situation.
Not even just that, just
They
being
blissful.
together.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're together, but we're not getting married ever. No, that's not a goal of ours.
Yeah, something about that scares people.
It scares them.
It's a scary thought. As a dude, it's a very intimidating thing.
Yeah.
To trust somebody so much, so it's like, if this doesn't work out, I'll be in a financial pickle of sorts, right? Like, I will be not as good as I would have been. But that's the risk that you take, right? Well, I hate to say risk, but it is. Right?
It is a risk.
Some people just choose the wrong part. Well, yeah, there's a religious thought about that. But some people don't pick the most ideal person for them. I can say that. From the outside looking in, some people don't pick the most ideal person for them, right? Mm-hmm. So it is what it is, right? But for those of us in our relationships now, the beginning of the year is a good time to be like, yo, do we have the foundations really set? Like, are we really set to go the distance? All right. And just a quick recap: God, communication, being supported, your history, all right, love, trust, and adaptation. Kiki, is there anything else you need to say before we get to words of encouragement?
No.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. If you made it this far into the video, first and foremost, thank you. All right, this has been an incredible journey. We got some more for you, so please stick around. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow the actual podcast, and so you can be notified when we upload. Right? Please comment below what's your absolute favorite one that was said. Comment that below in the YouTube version. Also, please share it with somebody who you think will truly appreciate it. Now, my words of encouragement for the people. All right, my words of encouragement for the people are, bless you. You okay?
Yes.
My words of encouragement for the people is, we got to dig down deep, and we actually got to look within ourselves so we can acknowledge the flaws within ourselves, okay? One of the key things I think we're missing as people are coming up with their New Year's resolutions is we're forgetting our tendencies, okay? Actually, I probably should have let you go first. I usually let you go first.
You just stole mine. It's so bad, but yeah, go.
Yeah, we got to look within ourselves so we can see our tendencies, all right? The reason we need to see our tendencies is so that we can actually build plans to either work our ways out of our negative tendencies or so that we can lean into our positive tendencies, okay? Make sure you understand who you are before you're coming up with these different resolutions and things of that nature. Also, you need an accountability partner, somebody who's going to hold you accountable to the letter of what you're actually trying to do, okay? I want you guys to do that. Those two things. Look within so you can acknowledge who you truly are, and then finding somebody to hold you accountable. That way, you have somebody pushing you in the right direction as well. Now, Kiki, what are your words of encouragement for the people?
Well, you stole like half of mine.
I
was going the New Year route too, guys. But I would say when you make the resolution, also look back at last year and look at all the months and all the stuff you did, all the stuff you could accomplish, the stuff you didn't get to, and go through and figure out why you didn't get to those things you wanted to get to. And once you start to figure that stuff out, then you can start to plan the new year because you realize what prevented you from or what held you back from doing it last year. And so we're quick to do new resolutions because it's like, okay, new year, new me. But honestly, it might not be nothing wrong with you. So you might want to improve on yourself being even better. And so it's a good way to do that is to reflect on the good things, reflect on the bad things, and find out how you improve those things. Just like when you go to an interview, they ask you what are your weak and what are your strengths, and usually you say a weakness, but you also turn it around to where it can become a strength. Take that with something you want to do or you didn't get to, and make it actually happen this year.
Man, my wife is so awesome, man. You so good. You made it better. You made it better. I should have thought of the word reflect. That's so good. Hey, you guys, you got it. You heard it here on. Oh, my bad. Let's do the other outro. I forgot how we used to do the outros.
Oh my
It's
God.
been 23 episodes. All right, y'all. Fam's all good. Oh, home.
Kiki.
We're gonna keep this. Yo, Kiki.
Uh-huh.
How's the fam?
We're in the new year.
Yeah, fam's all good over here. Y'all be blessed.
Bye.